Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing.
2003 will be known for little else in modern memory other than the start of the Iraq War. A coalition led by the United States, bolstered through British support, today marks 20 years since Parliament voted in favour of the invasion. With Tony Blair as Prime Minister, the decision was made against a backdrop of mass public protest. One big question guiding the turmoil: was the invasion legal? Major General Chip Chapman is a former senior British military commander to US Central Command.
The war had been underpinned by UNSCR 1441, which was diplomacy had run its day, and that Saddam Hussein had to get rid of his weapons of mass destruction. Of course, that was the impetus to war, and the problem became that there were no weapons of mass destruction. So I don't think people really believed that. A lot of people didn't believe it because that led to the million-person march in London. So there was a lot of fracture, and certainly from the top of defence, the Chief of the Defence Staff, the future Lord Boyce, did want to get clarification from the Attorney General that any intervention by the British Armed Forces was indeed legal. And he got that assurance.
The weapons were never found, and despite quickly toppling Saddam Hussein, the war evolved. British troops spent many years fighting an insurgency. It's one of the reasons why some Iraq veterans suffer with post-traumatic stress. Around 9% of Iraq veterans have PTSD. Anniversaries can act as a trigger, even many years later, according to the mental health charity Combat Stress. Dr. Felix Davies is Director of Operations.
We are still finding that we are having veterans of Iraq come forward to us for help at this time. And they're experiencing a range of mental health problems. Often people think about post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, but we also find veterans come forward with mental health needs around anxiety, depression.
The war ended in 2011, yet the consequences of the decision to go into Iraq burned through the last decade and continue to this day. Will Hollis, GB News.